Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Two Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're going to have our final review of Holographic Universe by Symmetry. So I'm going to open the floor up and finally get my chance to gush about this album, because this is part of our series of I try to get you into a band, and I've chosen Symmetry. I love this album, it's incredible. Oh, it's time to dig into it. So one of my biggest things about this album is that it's so groovy. I feel that every single track, like all of them, have a groove that you can just go with. I feel like there's no track that feels stale or dull in terms of trying to get you to move, or like you could headbang to every single song on the whole album, I feel. And that was one thing that this band did great. I'm a huge fan of rhythmic things. I am a drummer, so a lot of that kind of stuff hit home with me. And I'm a huge fan of syncopated rhythms between the bass drums and the drums in general, and the guitars. Makes sense, you know. I gave Vile Meshuggah. I'm a big Meshuggah fan as well. Right. And there's tons of that in their music. And I'm a huge fan of that. You see that on this album as well, and it gets me every time I hear it. My favorite track, as I already explained, was the title track, Holographic Universe. That's
awesome track.
Incredible track. From the start, giving you kind of the landscape of the holographic universe. I feel like all the sound effects really paint that picture in your mind.
Oh, yeah.
And then the groove kicks in, and it's just bashing hard. Mm-hmm. And it goes for 9 minutes. Sometimes I look at that song, I'm like, wow, this is 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad
it doesn't feel like 9 minutes.
It does not feel like 9 minutes,
Which is a good thing.
It is 9 minutes, and that's interesting that it doesn't actually feel that long.
Yeah.
But I did say last week that a song like Trapezoid was kind of meh. And, you know, after you know, listening to this album a little bit again, I myself thinking, you know, maybe it's really not that kind of meh. If I was forced, like, if you held a gun to my head and said, yo, pick right now, what's the worst song? I'd say, okay, I guess Trapezoid?
Yeah.
Because it's not, like, overly amazing like some of the songs on this album, but it's not bad at all. It's still great, and it's great sounding. And Christian Alvestam sounds amazing, as I already said. One of my favorite moments of his voice is in Prism and Gate during the chorus. He goes way up there, and it blows my mind every time I hear his voice go way high, especially because, like, he goes right back down to the growls afterward, too. Like, he goes back and forth, and it's so impressive that he can do that.
Would you say, I'm not exactly sure, but did you think he has a multi-octave range? Because I was trying to, like, I'm not that knowledgeable on octaves and stuff like that, but I was listening to, like, some of the high stuff he does compared to some of the low stuff he does, and I guess I'm just not educated enough, but I don't know if those are different octaves he's hitting.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you know, the higher you go, the more octaves you can encompass with your voice, and Christian Alvestam goes really, really high, so
right.
He can encompass that and go all the way down multiple octaves. It's very impressive.
Because I know certain singers, like, they're renowned for being able to hit multiple octaves. Like, Mariah Carey, for example, she can hit, like, I don't know, it's like 5 or 6 or 7 octaves or something like that, which is, like, apparently crazy.
That's a lot.
But average singers only do, like, 1 or 2 octaves, from my understanding. I could be wrong about that, so correct me if I'm wrong, but do you know?
I don't know his specific vocal range, just given from what I've heard of Symmetry, he's probably able to do multiple octaves, which
it sounds
is
good,
a lot.
but the thing is, like, each octave has low notes and high notes, right? So I don't know if he's doing it all within 1 octave, or if he's expanding or traversing octaves. That's what I don't know, but it was one of those things I was thinking about while I was listening to it, because it is impressive at how he can hit these up here and then down here almost effortlessly.
Yeah, it's definitely going through multiple octaves.
Yeah.
Once again, ridiculous how he can do that. I also said last week, you know, the single from this album was Morphogenesis, and if you listen to that with it in mind, it kind of sounds quote-unquote single E, or like they're trying to make it accessible.
Again, yeah.
But without knowing that, though, like, before you knew it was the single, what was your impression of that song? I'm curious.
My impression of that song before I knew it was the single, which would be my first impression because I knew was that it was good. Remember I said I would have to get used to the singing, because the clean singing was something that I was like, I had to get used to and stuff like that. So that was the first track, so that was my first kind of introduction to the vocals of this band. But it was all right. It was a little bit, I mean, if I had to take a guess, I think, what did I guess was the single? Was it Trapezoid?
I think it might have been Trapezoid or
something else, whatever, but that probably would have been my second guess. Or Time Wave Zero, maybe, I think was my pick. But yeah, after listening to it a couple times more, and I just went and watched the music video for it, I definitely was like, yeah, this is the single. Like, it definitely has a catchy vibe to it that they're trying to like, you know, appeal to a broader group audience, I'd say. But yeah, it's a decent song. It's not my favorite on the album, but I think that this album, you mentioned that this album has, you know, like really like, what was the word you used? Like just pounds.
It's very pounding, like in songs
whatever.
Like the title track, or the whole album, really.
I would agree with that to an extent, but there are some like low points. I don't mean low as in like bad. I mean low as in where it's not just this constant driving force. Like that song, I feel like that's more of like a little bit of a toned down song. The beginning of Ghost Prototype 2.
Yeah, that was very chill.
Very slow, very mellow. Almost reminded me of like an 80s rock ballad. Just the way it sounds. And at first I really hated that part. I was like, I almost wanted to skip it, but then the song picks up and gets really cool.
and then it gets good.
It gets really good, and then it breaks back down again and kind of does the intro over again. But I got used to it. I started like almost liking it and then appreciating it, and then got to the point where I was like, this is actually really good. So that's one thing that I really like about doing things the way we do and listening to albums multiple times, because things grow on you and you start to appreciate things that you might not have liked the first or second time around. With that said, there was definitely more high points on this album than low points for me. There's a lot of good stuff I could talk about. There's not much bad stuff I can talk about at all. The good stuff would be my favorite tracks. The Missing Coordinates was my top favorite track, and Fear Catalyst was close second. Now, Missing Coordinates is just all around such an amazing track. Now, there's constantly clean vocals and harsh vocals mixed together on this album. This song, I feel like, was one of the best at combining the highs and the lows at the same time, like simultaneous, like what they call harmonizing vocals, I guess you'd say. Just so cool in this song the way it is. There's like this high-pitched vocal, it's kind of in the background at the same time as there's like a low growl in the foreground, and just the way it's done is just so cool. Solos on this album are awesome. I wouldn't say they're mind-blowing, but they're very cool. They're catchy. They're you know, they got some flair to them. Really love that. Instrumentally, everything's awesome. Fear Catalyst probably has the coolest mix of clean to harsh vocals. And I wish I could like show you guys an example of what I mean, but A, I can't sing, and B, copyright infringement, I can't show you a clip of what I mean. But catchy chorus, another sweet solo. It's got this cool breakdown part where it kind of like breaks down. It's not like a metalcore breakdown, but the music kind of breaks down, and then you're hearing like the clean vocals and he's singing, and it sounds so pure. Christian Alverstum, as we've talked about already, has an amazing voice on the album. I did some reading up on him, and apparently he can't sing that well live. I'm gonna go watch some live clips and see.
Yeah, I've never actually seen any live clips of the band.
I'm gonna check it out, but
I'd like to see too.
The caliber of his voice, like there's a lot of singers out there that can do cleans and harsh vocals, but they usually only do one or the other good. You know, the guys that do amazing harshes usually have some pretty weak cleans. They're either pitchy or they use auto-tune to fix it, right? This guy can do very, very good cleans. He's got a very, very good voice, and he's got a sick harsh vocal. And like I'm talking like growls, just regular harsh vocals, some screams, all that kind of stuff. Does very well. Kind of reminds me of Tony Kakko from Sonata Arctica. Not the fact that he doesn't sound like Tony Kakko, but just the caliber of the voice. Tony Kakko is an amazing singer. The difference is Tony Kakko I know can do it live. I've heard him live. He's amazing live. Christian Alverstum, if he can't do it live, that's a bit of a downfall. But on the album though, you got to give it credit where it's due. It sounds fucking amazing on the album. So yeah, it was a treat to listen to this. I really enjoyed it, but I'm gonna pass it back to you and let you rate it. Holographic Universe.
All right, I feel like this is pretty obvious for what my rating is. This album gets my toe tag. As I said in our first impressions, one of my favorite musical albums of all time. Listened to this years ago, blew my mind, and every listen, I still have my mind blown by some of these songs. Even today, like last week, I was listening to it, I'm like, oh my god, this album like keeps getting me every single time, and if it can do that for years, I feel it's definitely worthy of a toe tag. So what's your rating?
Well, when I first started listening to this album, you know, after the first impressions, I'm trying to get into it and stuff like that, and I felt like I was going to be forced with one of those decisions that I've had before, where do I review this album for my own liking or try to review it for the viewers? You know, do I do it kind of subjectively or objectively? And after listening to it so much, those two kind of started blending together, where I started to feel like my opinion started to become objective, started to become kind of fact. Like, this album is undeniably good, okay? And I think there's something in here. If you're a metal fan, I think there's something in here for you regardless of what kind of metal you like. If you like super fast, super hard, super aggressive, or if you like more light tone, it's kind of got a mixture of all that stuff, and it's done very, very well throughout the entire album. There's no bad songs, there's no songs that sound horrible, it's a good length. Everything on this album is great. I think this album deserves my toe tag as well. This album gets 2 toe tags. It's getting added to the list. You guys definitely got to check out Holographic Universe. This is an album I feel like I'll be revisiting in the future multiple times, because it didn't have to grow on me. I liked it immediately, but the more I listened to it, the more it still grew on me, right? And I liked it more and more and more and more. And, you know, you can't really say that about a lot of albums, right? But this one, and there's still things I'm listening to certain songs and still pointing out, you know, noticing different things here and there, and you gotta love that. You gotta love the craftsmanship behind that, behind albums like that they just give you. It's like almost like content that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that. So yeah, definitely a 2 toe tag album. I knew you were gonna give it a toe tag because that's why you picked it, basically.
Yeah.
For me, it took me, you know, a couple days of listening before I started going, yeah, is this a toe tag album? It kind of fucking is. Like, it didn't take long, right? And so yeah, that's it though, man. You guys gotta check this out. And
crazy album.
If you guys are fans of the band, and even if you're not fans of the band and you're gonna check it out because you listened to our review, let us know in the comments below what your favorite songs are, what your favorite albums are from Symmetry. I'll probably go back and listen to another album or two of theirs if I got time, because there's lots of stuff to listen to these days.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it for our review.
Yeah. But a like if you liked it. Comment. Let us know what you thought of this album. Let me know what you think of Solution 45. Subscribe for more. I'm TV Fish.
I'm by myself.
We'll see you guys later.